Hi, student leadership team. All right, welcome back. Session 3, almost done. Hang in there. These videos I think are going to get a little bit shorter, but in the first 2 we had to establish some really important groundwork. This session we are looking at student leadership, and we're looking at the essential qualities of a team. And so in session 2 we looked at what are the essential qualities of you as a leader. Just you personally as a leader, and some of those applied to a team, but these we are looking at the qualities of a team as a whole. And so each one of us have to be putting these in place, but these are things that make the team better. And if the team is not good, if the team is not healthy, then the whole ministry is going to struggle. And so I want you to be thinking, okay, how can I be putting these in place within my team that I am called to be a part of? So these are, again, going back, these are the essential qualities of a team. Number one, when we're looking at leadership teams, we have to understand that we have to keep the purpose in mind. This is the question why. And the question why should always be asked. We should be asking why regularly. So anytime we're planning an event, anytime we're planning a worship set, anytime we're planning a message series, we need to be asking, why are we doing this, and how does it fit within the purpose of what we are called to do? So we don't just do things just to do them. We don't do them to be fun and entertaining and popular, because that's not our purpose. We have to do things, the things we do ultimately have to be to point people towards Jesus Christ, to making people more Christ-like, and drawing them closer to the Lord. So the questions, the purpose has to steer our decisions. So it's why we decide to do one thing over another has to be, that decision has to be made by our purpose. Our purpose has to be clear and concise. So this goes back to each one of our leadership teams. We don't have this big, drawn-out, elaborate purpose with multiple different parts of it. Our purpose, the purpose of your team, is to reach out to others. Your purpose is to raise up believers, and your purpose on worship team, your purpose is to reverence Christ. That's pretty much it. It has to be clear and concise and simple. We've got to understand. You've got to be able to say it and think it, and filter our decisions through it very simply. We should consistently ask ourselves, why are we doing what we're doing? And I'm kind of, reiterating that, and you already kind of got that. But we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we doing this? Is it just to put something on the calendar? If so, that's not a good purpose. That's not why we do it. We have to know the why. So a good team keeps its purpose in mind. Number 2, a good team has love for and trust in one another. So the members within a team love one another and trust one another. We have to, and so with that, how do we break that down? What does that look like practically? The people on a team have to have a willingness to be open and honest about ideas. What I mean by that is that you on your team, you've got to be willing and open to share your ideas. If you're on this team, it's because we want your opinion on things. We want your input. We value your wisdom, and you do us a disservice if you don't share those things, if you don't contribute. On the flip side, everyone else on your team has wisdom, and it has good ideas and has good insights, and so you and I should never in any way make someone feel less by sharing their ideas. So everyone has to be willing to be open and honest about their ideas. And so in our team meetings, share, talk. If you've got an idea and you're afraid to share it, you're doing all of us a disservice. Share your ideas. Be open and honest about your ideas. The second one is that you've got to have willingness to lovingly confront and to be confronted. What I mean by that is that we're not just, and I've already talked about this with our character, we're not just a team that does things, that does events, worship sets, teaching messages, and we're separate from that. But we care about each other's character and each other's actions. And so with that, if someone on our team is messing up, we have to love that person and we have to love our team enough to talk to that person. Say, hey, you've kind of been ditching meetings, or you're not responding to texts quickly or at all. And so you need to work on that. And so we have to be willing to lovingly confront one another. But on the flip side, we have to be willing to lovingly be confronted as well. And so maybe we're the ones that the person walks up to and says, hey, you've kind of been messing up, or I've noticed like in our meetings, you're kind of on your phone a lot and you're kind of distracted, or even just a character thing like, hey, I think you're kind of sinning. We have to love the other person enough to be confronted, to where we don't get super defensive and we're not like, well, you were on your phone in meetings too, and well, you want to talk about sin, I could come up with some of your sins, or anything like that. We don't want to do that. So we have to lovingly confront people, but we have to lovingly allow ourselves to be confronted as well. And that's part of loving and having trust in the other person. We choose to think and assume the best. So in other words, we have the other person's best interest in mind, and we think the best about them. So say we're in our training meetings and someone shares an idea, and we fight the urge to think, oh, well, the reason they're sharing that idea is because that's what they're all about, and they want to make this event all about them. They want to look like such a thing, or that's just, they're so selfish. That's assuming the worst in people. That's thinking the worst of a person's motives and intentions. And on a leadership team, we can't do that. We have to assume the best. We have to think the best about it. And if we have a problem with someone, we have to be willing to confront them on it and share a concern if we have it. But we choose to think and assume the best. We question methods, but we never question their motives. So we could say like, oh, I don't know if that's the best idea, or I don't know if that's the best event, or if that's the best plan for something. That's questioning their motives, but we never say, oh, the reason you're doing that is because of this. That's questioning their motives. I think I said that wrong, but we question their methods. We never question their motives. I think I maybe said that backwards a second ago, but you get the idea. Number 3 is that we commit to the mission. We commit to the mission, the team, and the ministry above ourselves and our agendas. So a good team commits to the mission, team, and ministry above themselves and their agenda. The idea simply is we exist to serve, not be served. You on a leadership team, it is not about you, it's not about me, and it's not about us. We exist not so that we can be exalted, not so that we can be praised, not so that we can be like made some big deal of. We exist to serve, not be served. And this is very contrary to the world's model of leadership. If you've got your notes, you look at it. If you think of it like a pyramid, where the leader is the top, the leader is the one on top, and the one on top is like everyone at the bottom. It exists to support the one on top. And the one on top just trickles down all the information. It's like, here, you just take care of this. I'm the one on top, and your job is to support me and make me look good. That's the world's model of leadership, and that's if you think of it, it looks kind of like a pyramid. But this is Jesus' model of leadership, and like all things that Jesus does, he flips it on its head. And what Jesus said, and it's true of us, he said, I came not to be served, but to serve. And so we have to realize, and we are to take that exact same model of leadership, where our goal is we are still on top in a sense, but by being on top, we're on bottom. And our goal is, and our purpose is not to be made a big deal of. Our purpose is not to be praised or anything like that. Our purpose is to lift up and to build up and to encourage and to make and to support the rest of the students and the rest of the church through our ministry. It says it in your notes, but in the world's model, the leader is supposed to be served by his or her followers, In Jesus' model, the leader's role is to serve, empower, and care for those he or she oversees. So our goal is to build up the ministry, not to build up ourselves. What does this look like? A little bit more unpacking this idea of committing to the team. Practically speaking, we cheer on the individuals. When they win, we all win. So we support one another. We cheer one another on. We focus on personal tasks, but we're willing to help wherever is needed. In other words, we don't say that's not my job. The saying like that's their job, not mine. That doesn't exist in our vocabulary. We focus on our job and we want to do our job well, but we're always willing to help others in their job. We're flexible and positive when plans change. And it's important to say when plans change, because plans do change. And so we just say, okay, and we be flexible when they change. But also is that we follow through and we're reliable. In other words, the things we say we're going to do as part of a team, we do those things and we are reliable. That goes back in the previous thing about being consistent and being trustworthy. Part of being a good team is that we are reliable in our teamwork. And so those are the four essential qualities. Four, right? Messed up my notes. Three. The three essential qualities of a team. They keep their purpose in mind, they have a love for and a trust in one another, and they commit to the mission above themselves and their agenda. So with that, we'll see you guys in session 4. Almost done. Hang in there.